Hello, this is Photography Gamer. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to break down all the aspects of farming in Valheim. I'll cover the tools, the crops, livestock, how to prepare the land, and I'll finish off with some ideas on how you can build your very own farm. Okay, let's go. What tools do you need for farming? Well, firstly, you need a hoe. This can be crafted at a workbench using 5 wood and 2 stone. But what does the hoe do? Well, the hoe is a farming tool used to work the earth into various forms. The hoe has 4 main uses. Number 1, it can be used to level the ground. This is particularly useful when you're trying to prepare the terrain for a flat planning sort of patch. Basically, when you use it, the terrain you target will level out to match the place where you're standing. It isn't an exact science and it may require some alterations with a pickaxe or raising and then lowering the levels, but stick with it and you'll get there. Number 2, you can use the hoe to raise ground. This again is good for creating a flat level environment for your planting bed, but it's also good for creating borders or large earthy barriers to protect your land. Number 3, Pathan. This is an option that simply changes the terrain into a light dirt colour. It basically is something you'll use when you want to create dirt paths from one place to another in the game world. It makes it very easy to navigate from your different buildings. And number 4, paved road. This acts in a similar way to the Pathan feature, but instead of dirt, it places a stone-like paving to the floor, resembling a road. But in order to do this, you will need stone in your inventory. Okay, so that's the hoe. The next tool is the cultivator. The cultivator is used to till the soil and plant a variety of crops and trees. You can craft a cultivator at a forge using 5 core wood and 5 bronze. The first 2 functions of the cultivator are cultivate soil. This basically changes the appearance of the ground to a dark muddy colour, and it also makes it fit for planting crops and seeds. The next function is grass. This is an aesthetic change to the terrain, making it nice and green. The remaining functions apply to planting things that grow. So let's look at what you can plant and how to obtain the seeds in the first place. Okay, so firstly, vegetables. You can grow turnips, onions and carrots in your farm. All these vegetables have to be grown from seeds. Turnip seeds can be found in the swamp biome. They are yellow in colour and are pretty easy to spot in the dark, dank swamps. Onion seeds can be found in the mountain biome, and they're usually found in treasure chests that are in these ruined old houses. One thing to note, you'll never find onions growing in the world. They can only be found in seed form, which in turn has to be grown to get an onion. Carrot seeds can be found in the black forest biome. They have a white flower and again very easy to spot in the black forest. So those are the traditional vegetables. What else have we got? Well, barley can be found in the plains biome in the hostile villages. They look like long grass and are cultivated by the locals in the plains. Barley can only be grown in the plains though. It can be used to make barley flour in a windmill or planted with the cultivator. It can also be used to feed hens and lox. Next we have flax. Flax can be found in the plains biome in the villages. Again, flax looks quite similar to barley, but it has a slightly different colour and presentation. Flax can only be grown in the plains. Flax is used to make linen thread via a spinning wheel, and it can be also fed to a lox. Next we have Jotun puffs. These can be found in the mistlands. They have a narrow stem and a yellowy orange bud at the tip. These can only be grown in the mistlands, but only from seeds. They can be used in a variety of crafting recipes and also eaten. And lastly on crops we've got mage cap. Mage cap can be found and grown in the mistlands. It can be eaten directly or used in some recipes. Lastly on the cultivator, it can be used to plant trees, assuming you give them enough space to grow. To get seeds, you need to chop down the trees in the wild and then plant the seeds that are dropped using the cultivator. There are 5 tree variations and 1 vine available. Here are the details. Beech trees, these can be found in the meadows. Birch trees, these can be found in the meadows and the plains. Oak trees can be found in the meadows. Fir trees can be found in the Black Forest, the swamp and the mountain. And pine trees can be found in the Black Forest. Ash vine is the last thing that you can plant with the cultivator. It needs to be near a wall or structure in order to grow. Ash vine can be found in the ashlands biome that was recently added. The third tool used for farming is the axe. The axe is used to cut these trees down, destroy tree trunks or chop up logs that are in the way. It can be also used to clear bushes, shrubs or small tree saplings. The fourth tool is the pickaxe. This is a very useful tool for clearing large rock formations that may be in your way. You can also use the pickaxe to dig trenches, borders or level out small bumps in your terrain. Finally, you'll need a hammer. As with most things, you need to place a workbench to build things, and a hammer allows you to build structures such as fences, gates, etc. Okay, so those are the tools you'll need, but let's look at the step-by-step process in using these tools to grow your crops. Firstly, you'll need a workbench nearby, because if you're growing crops, you will need to build some sort of fences to border the area, like so. But the light coloured soil is no good for planting, so you'll need to cultivate the soil with the cultivator tool. Then you simply use it on the areas within the fencing, like so. Once cultivated, it will change to a dark colour. It will look like wet mud or compost. This means it's ready for planting. Okay, so let's plant a few bits and pieces. Again, use the cultivator, select the appropriate seed or crop. For the purpose of this demo, we will plant turnips. One thing to note, you don't need to do this if you're planting trees. Trees can be planted anywhere on the land, but bear in mind, some trees are quite large and they may block out light, so plant them appropriately. So when planting, make sure you don't place the crops too close together, otherwise they may turn brown, which means they're not going to grow. Now, if they look a bit weird, have a look at them and you will get this little message of advice underneath the plant. It will say what's wrong. You know, they might be in the wrong biome. And that's something you need to know before planting. What biomes do these seeds grow in? So do your homework. Right, so you've planted your crops, but what now? Well, you've got to wait. But in time, the crops will grow and be ready to harvest. Depending on what you've planted, you'll either get crops like turnips, for example, or you'll get an amount of seeds that you can then replant to increase your yield. So you've got your crops, but what do you do with them? Well, you can convert crops into seeds, or you can use the crops for a variety of crafting recipes. But the main reason you can grow crops is to cook, and you can use these crops in a variety of food dishes in your kitchen. Now, I'll do another guide on food in Valheim because there's lots of dishes involving lots of ingredients, but have a look through your options, see what you can craft. Another thing that you will need when farming is a windmill. The windmill is used to convert barley into barley flour, and it requires an artisan table to be built. Windmills can only be placed on dirt or stone. Windmills require wind to work, obviously, so build them in an open area, otherwise they may be ineffective. So we've covered tools, we've prepared the land, we've planted crops. What about livestock? Well, in Valheim, you can tame a variety of animals to live on your farm. So let's have a look at what ones are available. Wild boar can be found in the meadows biome and can be both tamed and bred. To tame a boar, you need to get its attention, get it to chase you, and lead it into a pen with a door so that you can close it. Once it's trapped, throw in some food now and again, like raspberries, mushrooms, whatever you've got available. Then in time, the boar will become friendly. If you want to breed boars, you need at least 2 boars in the pen. Feed it with carrots. That's a good way to get it to kind of encourage it to breed. Once one of the boars is pregnant, it will give birth to a baby boar. The baby will take around 50 minutes or so to mature. Then you're free to either use it for breeding or use it for dinner. Hens, another one, they're a passive creature that do not appear in the game world. They only come via an egg. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? It's the egg, in this case, which you have to purchase from Haldor. Although I have heard some people say that they found the eggs in the game world. I haven't, but maybe they're lying. Anyway, to hatch an egg, what do? You've got to drop it on the floor near a heat source, preferably in a house. The egg will give you a note about the temperature. If it's in the right temperature for the right amount of time, you will hear it hatch, and then you will have a chicken. And in time, that chicken will mature into a hen. Hens should be fed with dandelions, barley, beech seeds, birch seeds, carrot seeds, onion seeds, or turnip seeds. If the hen is happy and well fed, it may lay an egg, which can be used to cook or hatch another hen in time. You can also have beehives on your farm. To find them, look for a derelict building in the meadows, destroy the structure supporting the hive and take the loot. Then you can build a beehive back at your base. This will provide you with a supply of honey, and honey is a resource you need if you want to make mead. You can tame wolves. They're quite an aggressive animal found in the mountain biome. To tame a wolf, it's the same method as the boar, but much more dangerous. You've got to get it in a pen and then throw loads of meat at it, and in about 30 minutes you might tame it. Wolves are really good allies in combat, but they can also protect your farm. Lastly are the lox. They're aggressive creatures found in the plains. To tame a lox, you've got to find a herd and drop cloudberries near them. Keep doing this for a time and you might get a whole herd on your side. But be careful, because the plains, they're very dangerous, so maybe use a portal, go back and forth, drop berries, so that you avoid the death skeetos. The lox can also be mounted if you can craft a saddle. Okay, so we've covered pretty much all aspects of farming, but there's one more thing to consider: how to build your own farm. Now, there's no right or wrong way to build a farm, but in the following segment I'm going to give you some ideas on things to build, how to build them, and also give you a guided tour of the farm that I built with my friend. So the first thing you need to build is a plot of land. I'd recommend trying to find a peaceful and idyllic landscape that looks good, but also has a practical landscape, as most farms are built on relatively flat terrain. The flatter the plot, the less work you'll have to do with your tools in order to prepare it. Okay, so what sort of things should you consider featuring on a farm? Well, firstly, you need fields to grow your crops. Again, use fences to segregate certain crops, which will make it easier to manage. Another tip: for your starting location, think about considering a location that features wild mushrooms or raspberries. Both mushrooms and raspberries are great sources of food, but sadly they can't be planted directly in the game. So if you build your farm around a raspberry field, you will have another food source that will replenish. What else do you need? Well, a farmhouse is a good start, building your home in the centre and then extending the farm outwards to feature all the things that you desire. You could build a barn, you could keep animals in this, you could turn it into a workshop, you could keep it in have a place where you keep all your tools like I did. You could also consider building a farm by the ocean and adding a fishing pier, because fish is also another good form of food. I would say plant grass to add colour, or put paths in place to make it more convenient. Add a few trees here and there to give it a natural feel. Create small features around using crops or bushes. Create unusual monuments, sort of like interesting paganistic or Viking themed structures. Add a maypole, large bonfires. Let your imagination run wild, make it unique to you. Or you could just build a local pub down the road so you and your farming friends can enjoy a tasty brew when the sun goes down. As I said before, there is no right or wrong way to build a farm, so go out there, make something that fits your style. Finally, let's have a little look around the farm that I built. Okay, there you have it. That is my guide to all of the aspects of farming in Valheim. I hope you found it useful. If there's any questions, please comment. Until next time, have a good one. This is PG, signing off. Cheers.